to another episode, part 2 of the Sporty Bobber build. So we are going to finish this paint job. We're going to be doing the rest of the candy, all the line work, gonna be doing a bunch of graphics, some logos and things. We're going with a graffiti theme. It's like gonna be brick wall with like graffiti Harley Davidson and things like that. I'll go over that all with you guys. But this is gonna be a pretty cool video. You're gonna see the rest of the tank and all the parts come together. So yeah, let's check it out. Okay, I figured I'd jump back in the garage. These parts are still drying. I can't wet sand them now until tomorrow, but I wasn't gonna film this, but I decided maybe I would show you guys the process. Scenes. We're going pretty in depth with this paint job. I'm going to be making all my own decals, stencils, things like that to be putting on the paint. So I thought I'd maybe show you guys how I've been doing it. So I kind of put up a little setup here in the shop. I'm using Procreate. So it basically is a drawing program on the iPad, which you can add. Well, I do a bunch of drawing, but with this one, I've just found fonts online that I like. And I'm gonna be going for a graffiti style design. So I don't know which ones I wanna use yet for the gas tank. And I have a few ideas with the 883 with X going through it because it's a 1200 now. So I'm gonna start putting this into my program, which is the Silhouette Cameo. It's a stencil maker. And I'm going to be editing and sizing everything according to the dimensions on the gas tank. Then we're gonna be printing some vinyl out and we'll be using those as stencils for the paint job. So let's get doing that. So I'll have the ability to make a bunch of different sizes, but for now, let's start with something, you know, probably between 6 and 7 inches for the logo, and at least, well, I'd say an inch, 6 and 7 by 6 to 7 inches, probably. So we'll do that, and then I have the ability to change the sizes after. So I'm just sizing this. I'm using matte white. It's Oracle 631. This is matte white. It doesn't matter what color you use. I'm using white because I'll be stenciling black, so I want to make sure I can see what I'm airbrushing. Okay, the time has arrived. The part I've been waiting for is the art part of the project. So I've gone and wet sanded the tank down, actually moved it down to 600 and got it cleaned up. So we're gonna start the line work on all of the parts. So these were the stencils I made yesterday. So I'm not gonna go into detail with how it's all gonna work. It's a little bit complicated, so you guys will just see as it goes together. I have different types of line tape that we're gonna be taping off. I have my airbrush gun. The parts are all ready to go. And yeah, we're gonna get started figuring out the design, and I'll kind of update you as we go. So the first step is to find center. I'm gonna be measuring to figure out the center of the tank. That way we can be even on the line work on each side. And then once I get this centered out, I'll be able to start laying out the top and then laying out the sides. So I'm gonna get going on that. Okay, little update. I went through everything all over again. There was a few areas where the line work I just wanted to adjust. It's important for me anyway to go back over all of the line work before you spray the black base, because I've had in the past, the first time I did this on a skateboard, I didn't seal the pin or the line work, and a little bit of the paint got underneath it, and I couldn't fix it. So I just make sure I went all the way around again. So now we have all of the parts. We've got the fenders, the shrouds. So everything that is taped, I'm even doing the headlight, everything that is taped is going to be candy. Everything under the red is going to be silver. And everything you can see silver now is going to be black. So that's going to be the color combo. And then I'm going to be doing artwork details, brick patterns hidden in the candy for all these areas. So the next step is to get these parts painted with black, put a couple coats on, let that harden for a few hours, and then we can remove the green, and then we have to tape everything, all of the black after. So let's start with that. Black base, 2-to-1, 2 parts black, 1 part reducer. This gun's a little different than the last one I used for the clear and the flake. This is a smaller gun. It's more for like finishing touch-ups, but it's gonna be perfect for the small amount of black we're doing. We're only filling small areas, and I only need to do 2 coats, so I'm gonna use this guy. I'm gonna let that black dry, and hopefully 2 to 3 hours I should be able to pull the tape and start some airbrushing. Okay, next step, I just took all of I used this stuff here to get some of the tape residue off of the silver, the metallic. So I cleaned all that up, went over my lines again, made sure everything is sealed up nice. Now the next step is I've got a bunch of these made. I'm gonna start by putting stencils of the brick all over the tank, and then we'll go around and airbrush it. So I'll just time lapse this. Okay, the next step, I have this Harley Davidson skull. He's like wearing a bandana. I want to put that right here. So I'm going to cut this up, put it on two separate parts. The reason why I'm putting it on two separate parts is just because of the shape of the derby cover. I want to make sure that it doesn't fold. I don't want to press it down too hard because I have to take it off. So that's what it's looking like so far. We're gonna start airbrushing around the brick to fade it all in, and then we're gonna airbrush some of the brick lines, and then we're gonna do some highlights. Okay, I added some red in the eyes with a little bit of white just to make them pop. And I've gone and highlighted little areas. I made it look like graffiti by hitting it with some white along certain areas. So yeah, now next up is candy. Okay, next step. This is a carrier by House Colors. And then this is the candy red. So I'm gonna mix it. There's no science, you just pick the depth you want, like how deep it's gonna be color-wise. And then we're gonna reduce it 2 to 1. So I've only done this once. Let's see what this does. And we want to reduce that after too. So if you can see that candy. I need proper mixers, that's what I need. Okay, and now this is reducer. So I'm gonna start putting some of this in here. Well, actually, put it in a small cup first. Well, there, it worked. I hit the white after the candy, so I'll lock that in the clear coat. Okay, I'm back in the shop. Made a bit of a mistake, and I'm gonna fix it right now. So I had airbrushed the Harley Davidson logo on there, and by the time I tried to highlight around it, it was so hard to read Harley. It was just, you couldn't see it. I'll show you in a clip here. As you can see, you couldn't see it that well. And same with this. So I just finished replacing the graffiti style MJD with the classic, my main logo. So it turned out good. And this is what I'm gonna be doing now. I'm gonna be putting the decal on, spraying black around it, and then removing it, then candying it. That way, the logo will actually be candied as opposed to black, which I probably should have done from the start. So I'm gonna quickly fix these up. It wasn't that bad. This is the great part about working with this candy paint, is that once I clear coated the flake, if I lightly sand it off, I'm only pulling the base of the candy and the black off. So I got back down to a clear coat. Then I scuffed it up with 800. By the time I candy over all of this, you won't even know, like it, just like that. So you can make mistakes, but I'm going to finish this up right now. Man, this GoPro has gotten rallied. Now it's sporting some red candy. Okay, I am done. Well, I'm not done. I am done everything but the clear coat. So I've just done my last few touch-ups, noticed some imperfections, try to fix them as best as I could. Probably learned a few things I would do different next time, but overall I'm pretty happy. I guess I'll know once it's all clear coated, but I'll show you guys the finished product before clear. So a few of these little parts you can see right there, they're just drying. I just touched them up with a brush. I had to go clean some of the line work up. Some of the candy got on it. Yeah, we're ready to clear. So I'll do a full tour of all the parts when I'm done, but let's just get this thing cleared. All right, guys, this is a very exciting moment because I am done this project. I didn't film the end because I thought wet sanding and polishing would be boring. However, holy shit, did that turn into a problem. And I've literally spent I've tacked 15 hours onto this project redoing the clear coat. I learned a valuable lesson, and I'll be stoked to share it with you guys in the event that you happen to paint your own stuff. What I did learn along this journey is I feel like I have the skill. Like I feel like I have the artistic ability to do these things. I'm not afraid to try them. The problem is I don't always have the knowledge. And somebody that's been doing this for a long time would most likely be able to avoid these situations. However, I do learn the hard way. So without further ado, I will show you this paint job. All right, so this is not wet sanded. It does look pretty good, but you can see some orange peel in the paint. Not too much, but I do need to wet sand this and buff it all out. However, I am not going to do that right now. I'm gonna let this stuff cure for like a few weeks before I start getting into the wet sanding and polishing. Okay, as you saw, it was a pretty in-depth video. The mistake that happened, I didn't realize how important flash time is. And you can kind of see it right there. I didn't realize how important flash time is. So I thought I could wait maybe 5 minutes in between clear coats. Little did I know the flash time was a lot more important than I had realized, and I was putting the coats on too thick. So what had happened was I got this thing called solvent pop. And what it is when you bury a part with clear coat and then you don't let it tack up long enough, and then you clear coat it again, you trap all those gases and solvents that are trying to escape, and they create little air bubbles. So although on top of that, there must have been some moisture in the line, even though I did have 2 water traps on my system, one at the compressor, one at the other part of my shop. I still feel like there was some moisture in the line, so it also created some cloud. And I never figured that out until it all looked good until I wet sanded the parts. And then when I wet sanded it, all of those little air pockets, they got the clear coat fine dust got driven into those pockets, and I couldn't get them out. And then by the time I went to go compound and polish it, I just couldn't, oh my God, I could not get it to shine. It was dull. And my only way to fix it was to completely sand down the entire clear coat, like 4 coats, and even went through the clear coat in some areas and had to touch it all up. And then I just re-clear coated it all, and that's why I haven't wet sanded it again. So let's keep looking at it. Anyways, so here is the fender, the rear fender. You can see all the little bricks in there that we did, little broken ones. I did some broken brick along the bottom there. Headlight, broken bricks falling away. Front fender I kept pretty straightforward, nothing fancy. Definitely needs to be wet sanded. I hid a long time dead logo, a little skull in there. I hid a Harley logo in here. And kind of did the cool, kept the red around the top of the oil cap. For the tank, put the MJD logo in there. Harley Davidson graffiti with all the brick, the panels, and then did the brick falling away here. Looks kind of neat. So it's going to be a nice theme. So I know this one was a long one, but there was so much to it, but it's done. I totally love the process. I would love to do it again. I was just a little frustrating with that in clear coat experience. But nonetheless, it turned out, in my opinion, it turned out great. So I'm gonna make a time-lapse video of it so you guys can see it come together really quick. From start to finish, I'm gonna be working on that. And the next step is just to do some more powder coating, get the front, the forward controls done, and get the rear end and stuff put together. So make sure you guys subscribe if you want to follow the rest of this build, and I'll catch you on the next one.